So this is part two of my video on films, which is also turned into talks on video games and books and movies. Basically, just of franchises that I enjoy. Um, so I ended the last one was Spider-Man and all the media surrounding him that I've seen. Oh shoot, you know what? I just completely forgot. I forgot to talk about the animated series. I went off on a tangent. With the video games and the comics. So I will talk about. Well, what I'll do is I'll talk about the animated series first, and then I'll move on to the other films and franchises that I enjoy. Um, so the Spider-Man animated series. I'm sorry I forgot to do this in the last one. But the first one that came out in the 60s, I've seen not all the episodes, but a fair amount of them. They're all really good. They have a Steve Ditko-esque style, a bit more bubbly in terms of style, but it's good. The artwork is great for its time, and it's if you compare it to the newer ones, Spider-Man isn't I'm thinking of the one from MTV back in 2003 where it's CG and 3D, and Spider-Man is able to run around really quickly and jump and leap and do all this crazy stuff. This one's a bit slower paced. I mean, Spider-Man, when you look at him in the one in the 60s, it's just sort of a more normal pace of him, crawling up a wall or swinging from a web there. Um, but it's still good, and if you like Spidey, definitely check it out. Compared to the 70s version, it has a lot more of the villains from the comics. It has Rhino and Craven and Vulture and Doc Ock. Um, are the ones that I can remember. J. Jonah Jameson's in it also. Aunt May's in it. Um, and it's really good. I enjoy it. It's a bit strange to see something from that long ago, but it's very good for its time. So check that out, or check that video rather. Again, don't end a sentence with a preposition. Um, so the second set of animated series was in the 80s, and there's two series. There's one that just starred Spider-Man, and then there was Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, which had Iceman as one of his allies, and then I think it was Firestar was the other ally. It was a white female superhero. Um, I'm gonna check that real quickly here. Oh, yeah, Iceman, and then I think it's Firestar, who I've never actually heard of, but I'm before that I actually saw the series, but I don't know. I'm going to check. Yeah, I can't find the name of the hero here, but it's a white female hero. I can't remember her name though. She has some sort of fire power, so that's sort of the duality between the Iceman and then the fire girl or woman. I can't remember female. I can't remember her name, but um, uh, um, I'm just really trying to think here. The Spider-Man films. Oh, sorry, Spider-Man animated series. So okay, so the 80s. Sorry, I got in a tangent there. Trying to figure out that girl's name. Um, but anyway, these are probably my least favorite of all the animated series. Uh, yeah, the ones from the 80s are kind of cheesy, kind of corny. I kind of prefer Spider-Man as being a solo hero also. He doesn't really have any allies, so to speak, besides Venom. later on in the comics, as well as some other media. Well, I guess he does have allies. I guess he does have Black Cat and some other people too that he does ally with occasionally. So Green Goblin also in the films. So I rescind that. I don't know. I just kind of found it kind of corny, kind of cheesy. But it's good. The artwork's a bit better than the ones in the '60s. Not a whole lot better, but similar style to that in the '60s. Um, but yeah, overall good. If you're interested in Spider-Man, I would check them out. Um, uh, and yeah, those are good. And then the one that I remember the most is from the '90s. That was in '94, I think, when it first came out, and I think it went till '96. So that's the one that I remember most. And that I think is out of all of them is my favorite one. Has a similar art style to that found in the X-Men animated series, which I also like watching as a child. I was around 6 to 8 when I was watching the Spider-Man series, so that's probably why I remember it most, is because that sort of is kind of the age range that I guess cartoons would be directed towards. Um, but yeah, that is a really good series. The animated series in the '90s with Spider-Man. There is another one in the late '90s, which I'm trying to think of the name. I know Spider-Man is now on another planet. Um, I think it's Spider-Man Extreme or something. I'm gonna check that. But the one in the '90s has all of the villains: Doc Ock, Lizard, Green Goblin, or not Green Goblin. Yeah, it has Green Goblin and Hobgoblin. Has Venom and Carnage, which are newer villains not found in the '60s or the '80s, but those were cool to see in cartoon form in the '90s for the first time. So list of Spider-Man animated series, because I think there are two animated series in the '90s. There's one in the mid '90s, and then one in the late '90s where he goes to another planet, which I didn't watch that much of, but that may be good. Oh, Spider-Man Unlimited. I don't know why I thought it was Extreme, but Spider-Man Unlimited is a good one, but I haven't seen much about it, so I'm not going to talk about it a lot. The MTV one is really good too. I watched that back when I was 15, high school. Yeah, that was back in 2003. Um, that one's really good too. That is 3D, as mentioned. It's CGI. It takes place not during Parker's high school years, but when he's in college. And I think the animated series from the mid '90s, Parker's older. I think he's in his late 20s in that one. So that was cool to see too. But Spider-Man Unlimited, and then I did see, um, is it Ultimate Spider-Man or Spider-Man Ultimate? Ultimate Spider-Man. I've seen both this Spectacular Spider-Man and Ultimate Spider-Man. Not a lot. Those are a bit more cartoony, and they have more like funny, kind of cartoonish elements to them, which is fine. I kind of prefer the more serious animated series, which are a bit more adult, but those are fine too. If you're a kid and you are into Spidey, they have some good artwork in there. It's a bit more. Spidey can move at a faster pace with that sort of art also. In both the CG one from 2003, which is a bit more adult, and then the newer, more cartoony ones, he's able to move much faster than the ones in the '60s, or seem to move much faster through the animation. So that's cool too. Yeah, those are more cartoony, but I guess if that's your sort of if that's what you're kind of into, that's fine. I just prefer the more serious ones. Trying to think of the other anything else here. I think that's it for Spidey. For real now. But I'll move on to the next one. The next franchise that I really enjoy. Um, I guess I'll talk about this one first, actually, because I was thinking about whether or not I should talk about this, but I guess I will. Sonic the Hedgehog is another franchise that I really enjoy. I like the older games a bit more than the newer ones, but the new ones are good too. Um, the ones that are in 3D, anywhere from Sonic Adventure to the new ones. I haven't played a lot of the new ones. I've played a couple of them, but they're all very good. Um, it's they do take the element of Sonic being able to move quickly and that sort of unique trait of his sort of yeah, unique trait's the best way I can describe that. But taking that speed and then incorporating it into that game is also cool. Just to feel like you're going really quickly is really good. Yeah, but the ones I mostly remember playing are the first three, as well as Sonic and Knuckles. I really like the introduction of the Knuckles character. I always like it when there is ambiguity to a character's morality. So Knuckles being a bit naive and thinking Spider-Man was a villain, as Dr. Robotnik deceived him, was an interesting sort of idea that I was first introduced to at I think it was age 6 or so when I first started playing that game, the Sonic 3 and then Sonic and Knuckles. So that was a cool kind of concept way back then, which is still kind of cool to see in films too. That sense of moral ambiguity, those characters who could be considered anti-heroes, so to speak, who ride the line of what's good and bad. But yeah, so yeah, those are the ones that I mostly remember playing. And then I did play Sonic Adventure, which was also good. That was the first one in 3D. Um, and then I played Sonic Adventure 2, and then I played a couple of the other newer ones. Sonic Heroes, and I think it was Sonic Colors that I've played too, where they have like the new characters in there. Not necessarily new, but from Adventure. So Adventure had Big the Cat as a new one. It had that robot Epsilon or whatever that was. I'm trying to think of the. They're not really new actually because they're using the Chaotix characters in Heroes, so those aren't new. Those are from um, Knuckles Chaotix, which was on the 32-bit system for Sega. Shoot, can't remember what that was called, but anyway. So I'll talk about Sonic a bit more. There was an animated series in the 90s. There was actually two. One was a bit more cartoonish, that was supposedly separate from the other one. Although in one of the holiday specials for the more cartoonish one of the characters from the more serious cartoon show, which I'll talk about a bit more, did appear in that. So I wonder maybe if they're thinking maybe that's like Sonic's dream, like they have the SATAM, which is the more serious cartoon show from the 90s, and then you have Sonic, his dream, which is the cartoonish part. Uh, I'm wondering if that's what that is. That could be. That's like a pop culture sort of theory that I just sort of thought of. That might be it. That's the best explanation I can have for that because that's the only way I could explain why Princess Sally is in the holiday special for that. Anyway, just nerding out this week, but um, so anyway, I'll talk a bit more about the more serious one because the cartoonish one, I didn't really enjoy that much. I mean, I guess I had some good humor, but it was a bit too funny for me, a bit too happy. Um, the one that aired also in the 90s that was a bit more serious in tone that I enjoyed quite a lot more and watched more of was really good. And it takes this idea of a society that has been um, destroyed and then transformed into this robotic, metallic state, where this villain, Dr. Robotnik, has invented this machine where he can turn the inhabitants of the planet Mobius, these animals, these well, not animals, but they're kind of like humanoid animals. You know, like how Sonic sort of is, if you know the Sonic character. He invents this machine called the Roboticizer, which can transform these organic creatures into robots who have no free will and will just do whatever Robotnik tells them to, which seems to be just building more of I think it's Robotropolis, which is on the planet Mobius, where Sonic hails from, and that's a really good series. I mean, it looks kind of cartoony, but that's sort of its exterior. At its core, it's actually a very um, serious and heartwarming piece of work. Um, so check it out if you have the chance. It's very good. It has a lot of interesting character interactions between Sonic and Sally, which are really good and touching, and this idea behind free will and what free will should be is really interesting. So yeah, check that out. It's usually referred to as SATAM or Sonic SATAM, as it was on Saturday mornings in the AM. So that's a really good one to check out. The other one from the 90s, not so much. I would not recommend that one. Look up SATM if you want a good Sonic cartoon from the 90s. And I'm swatting at a fly here, or a gnat to be more specific. So sorry about that. I've seen some of the other Sonic cartoons. I've seen one of the Sonic animes. The one from Japan, I think, was also made in the 90s, where Knuckles has that hat, that Indiana Jones hat, and that was fine. That was good. Kind of reminded me of the Sonic Boom video from the Sonic CD games, or the Sonic CD game on the PC, at least, which is really good. And that artwork really kind of moved me and really impressed me at the time, and still does too. It's really good. Very fast paced and not like super detailed, but good enough for a character like Sonic, who's a bit more cartoonish, and yeah, that is really good. But yeah, there's I did watch the newest Spider-Man, Sonic the Hedgehog animated series on Netflix, which I thought was good too. That's the one. It's in CGI, and I can't remember what the heck it's called. But I thought it was good. I kind of prefer SATAM. That's my favorite out of all of the animated series I've seen with Sonic. I have seen the other one too, the Sonic X, which I don't really like. That was a bit cartoony also, which I think I like it when they take cartoony characters and make them serious. And SATM does that very well. So yeah, oh, and I will after I check the name of this new Sonic cartoon, I will talk about the Archie comics, which follow the SATM storyline and plot. Um, so Sonic the Hedgehog, have that there. Okay. Oh, the Sonic Mania games I also played, and those are good too. And they have really good Sonic CD like cartoons in them too, which I also really like seeing. So I'm glad they brought back that style and then incorporated it into the plot of the game. I have seen Sonic Underground. I'm mainly interested in watching that because Knuckles was in it. That's not super good also. Has the same artwork as the SATAM, but I don't know. I just thought it was kind of weird that Sonic now has siblings, which is fine. I understand people are trying new ideas. Didn't get into that as much, but you know, it's not bad by any means. But you know, it's not my favorite. Oh, Sonic Prime. I think that has to be it. That's the one on Netflix. That's good too. Sonic kind of playing with that multiverse idea with Sonic now, which is cool to see him get involved in there. Um, and yeah, he basically finds himself in in these various alternative universes where there are different versions of Knuckles and Amy. There's a pirate version. There's like a savage version. So yeah, that's really cool. That's really well done. I actually really like Sonic Prime. I did watch that, so um, thought that was really good. I've seen Sonic X2. That was more of an anime style. I didn't really watch a lot of it. Didn't care for it a lot. That is very fast paced, fast animation. Kind of like how Sonic and Knuckles fought in one of them, but didn't really get into it a lot. But I watched it a bit. Not my favorite either. I'm gonna stick with SATM as my favorite, and then Sonic Prime. I guess I'll put as my second favorite for the animated series. Sonic X, and then the other series from the '90s. I'll put um, on par for third, I suppose, as well as Sonic Underground. I'll put that in there too. Um, but yeah, I really do like Sonic, and I'll talk about the Archie comics for a bit. These are based on the SATAM series, the more serious version or cartoon that I spoke of. Um, and the comics delve into different characters also. Are able to go more into different characters' backstories. Princess Sally's backstory, Knuckles' backstory. Knuckles and Princess Sally also got their own spin-off comics from what I can remember. Never read either of those, but those are interesting and or sound interesting anyway. Um, but yeah, I really did enjoy reading those comics when I was a kid. Read some of the ones from the mid 90s. I didn't read some of the ones from the early ones, not early ones, early 90s. But the ones from the mid 90s are really good. I really liked seeing Sonic fight Knuckles. I liked him seeing, yeah, seeing Sonic turn into Super Sonic and fighting Hyper Knuckles. I liked how they give Robotnik's backstory as Julian, and I will give some spoilers here, but he was essentially an aide to the um, leader of Mobius, or Mobotropolis, rather. I don't think it's that whole planet, but a city in Mobius, Mobotropolis. I think it was actually Sonic, no, Princess Sally's father, who King Acorn, and Robotnik was originally called Julian, and he was a human. I don't think he was a human. He was like a humanoid, more Mobian. I can't remember the entire backstory to that, but he does betray King Acorn as Sonic's uncle, Uncle Chuck, who was an inventor. He invents this machine where if you lose a limb, it will regrow that limb by creating a new robotic limb for you. And that's where the excuse me, I yawned there. That is where the ro uh, roboticizer came from. Was that machine that was meant to be created for good? Um, So Jillian uses Uncle Chuck's machine to turn entire Mobians into robots that are meant to do his bidding. He banishes King Acorn to this other dimension called, I think it's called the Nexus, because it exists Noxus. I can't remember what the dimension is. But anyway, he betrays the King Acorn, banishes him to another dimension, and uses Uncle Chuck's machine to roboticize all the inhabitants of Mobius. Or not quite all, because they have the freedom fighters who escaped, and what's what drives the plot of the cartoon and the comic series. Um, but yeah, they have some other characters in there too, which are not found in any of the video games, which I really wish they would start doing. They are in one. They are in Sonic Spinball, but that is the only one I can think of. and that is the only one. You have Princess Sally, who is Sonic's love interest, and then you have Rotor, who is the inventor for the Freedom Fighters. You have Antoine, who is sort of the comic relief. He is French and is sort of the I think he served as like a diplomat or ambassador, or his father, I think, did for the king when Mobotropolis was still Mobotropolis and not Robotropolis. And then there's Bunny Rabbit, who is a rabbit who she had her um, left. I think it's either one of her arms was and one of her legs were roboticized. She was captured by Robotnik and then partially roboticized, but was then rescued by Sonic before being fully roboticized. But part of the plot there is that they are trying to de-roboticize her limbs. So they're trying to Rudder's trying to create this de-roboticizer to help both Bunny Rabbit and then the other Mobians who've been roboticized. Um, so anyway, yeah, that's sort of my rant on Sonic there. Really good video game series. I believe the creator for that is Yuji Naka. So he is credited for creating Sonic. The video games are really good. They make use of Sega Genesis's blast processing or processing power to create the illusion that Sonic is running really quickly. There are a lot of other good elements to the games, puzzles, nothing too complex, but some simple puzzles. You have the power ups, invincibility, and shields, and bubbles where you can bounce in, and flames that you can shoot through, and electricity, which you can use to create sparks, and all these cool things. Really innovative video game series, some good animated series, some not so good animated series, but overall a really cool franchise. I did see the two CGI films too, which I thought were good too. A bit cartoony, so they went to the sort of the cartoonish route with Sonic, which is fine. I have a little bit more respect because it is CGI and there's some more work, maybe more work, but maybe not. I don't know. So maybe I'll rescind that statement also, but I guess I'll do that. But yeah, they were a bit cartoony for me. I wasn't a huge fan of them. I think they're more meant for kids, which is fine. But yeah, Jim Carrey does a really good job at playing Dr. Robotnik, and I liked Idris. Yeah, Idris. Idris Elba as Knuckles does a really good job, and then Tails is in there too, which is cool. And yeah, it's just really fun films. Not a huge fan, meant more for kids, but I do like the Sonic franchise, and they're very good. Um, okay, so I guess I'll move on to the next one here. I guess I'll end. Um, I'll just move on to this one here. I guess I'll talk about Super Mario Brothers now. I first played Super Mario Brothers, the original NES game. That was the first game I played back in 1985 with the Duck Hunt. It came in a pack where you had both Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt in one cartridge. Um, so I played that, I think, first back in 91 when I was around 3. Was really bad at the game. Had gotten better at it as I gotten older. I played Super Mario Brothers Deluxe. I still play those Mario games occasionally. I just beat Super Mario Brothers 2 for the first time, although I did use save states for that, so I don't know if that officially qualifies. But I beat the Japanese, no, not Japanese. I beat the American version of Super Mario Brothers, the one where you can play as Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach. I beat that one with Luigi, although I did use save states. But anyway, first played Super Mario Brothers on the NES when I was around 3, and then also played Super Mario Brothers 2, the American version. I'm playing the Japanese version now, which is just a more difficult version of the first one, but it's very good. Luigi can jump higher in that, and he also has worse traction, so it makes him a more advanced character to play. Mario plays the same as Mario in the first one. Um, Played Super Mario Brothers 3 with my cousin a lot when I was a kid. I don't know. I think we owned that game also, but I think I played it more with him because it is two player. And I played a two player with my dad for the first one also, the original Mario Brothers, or Super Mario Brothers rather, on NES. I did play Mario Brothers, just plain Mario Brothers on the arcade too, which is also a good game. Not quite as good as the Super Mario Brothers series, but a good one. And then Donkey Kong I've also played both on the arcade and then on an actual Donkey Kong arcade um, back in the back in East Rochester when I lived there briefly while we were moving when I was living with my aunt and grandparents for a while. Um, Played that on the arcade in the card shop with a childhood friend of mine and still friend, Josh Netsky. And so anyway, yeah, played all those early Mario games and then didn't actually play Super Mario World until it came out on the Wii. We had that store where you could buy those old games and play them on the Wii. So that's the first time I played Super Mario World. Um, and then trying to think of what else here. Um, yeah, okay, so Super Mario World, I played Super Mario World 2 on that also. Um, I'm thinking of what else I've played. So, that's it for Super. Oh wait, I played Mario Kart on the NES, not NES, the SNES, at my friend Jeremy Conar's parents' house back when I was around 7, um, 8, 9, somewhere around there, um, which was good. So the original Mario Kart and SNES was where I first played that. And then played Super Mario 64 for the first time. It was a showcase actually for the Holiday Bazaar at my school. It was, I think it was just someone had bought it and they were like one of the first people to buy it, and then they just showcased it at the bazaar, and they let you play it for like 5 minutes if you paid a certain amount of like money to pay for it. If certain amount of money. So I think if you paid like five of these Harrison dollars, they were called, these dollars that you could buy for the bazaar specifically. You would give them like a Harrison dollar or five Harrison dollars. I can't remember what that is. But then you could play Super Mario 64 for like 5, 10 minutes or so. So that was my first introduction to that game, where Mario was first put into a 3D environment, and that was really cool to see. I always kind of wonder what that would be like when I was playing the 2D Mario games on NES. But I played that for a bit there, and then I did eventually get an N64 later. I think I was 9 when I first played that, and then when I was around 12, I did. My father bought an N64 for me, and I did end up playing Super Mario 64 on that, and I did beat it with all the 120 stars. No save state for that. Oh no, they did have save states for that, but so sorry, I did end up saving games on that, but um, yeah. So Super Mario 64 also played Mario Kart 64. I did not own that. I played that at my friend Jeremy Connor's house also, or parents' house also. Um, when I was around 9 or so. Um, yeah, so Super Mario 64, and then Mario Kart, the 64 version. I did play Super Mario RPG, which was found on the SNES, which I guess they're remaking now for the Switch, but I did play that a bit on an emulator, which at the time I did not know those were illegal, so I apologize for that. I just thought that they were free at the time. I think I was in grad school. Yeah, I was like 22 when I played that Super Mario RPG on an emulator, a Super NES emulator. So I apologize for that. I did not realize that those were illegal when I played those at that time. Hopefully, the statute of limitations is up on that. Um, but yeah, I played a bunch of other NES games on emulators when I was 22 also, first starting grad school. I think I played some of the other Mario games on there, like the old NES games on there also. Um, but anyway, yeah, so I'll move on. I think I'm on to N64 now, so trying to think what. Oh, Super Smash Brothers I also owned for the N64 when I was a kid, child rather. I think I got that as a Christmas present when I was a kid or birthday present, but that's a really good game. It has Mario and Luigi and Donkey Kong and Yoshi in it. That's the original Smash Brothers fighting game, which is really cool to see Mario able to fight all these other Nintendo characters. Um, Metroid Samus, and then Captain Falcon and Ness, and who else is in there? Pikachu's in there, Kirby's in there, Jigglypuff's in there from Pokemon also. So that was the first Smash Brothers game on N64. I also played that. And then, what else on N64? I think that's it for Mario for N64. Oh no, they had a Paper Mario also, which I played on N64, which is also a really good game. Very unique. It was interesting to see Mario in that sort of flat style, and it incorporated that flat version of him into different parts of the story. Where I think you could like, it was an RPG game, but I think you could like slip through surfaces and like float as a piece of paper. So that was really cool. Really enjoyed that game also. I think that's it for the N64 though. Um, I should mention when I play the Mario games, if I ever have a choice of playing between Mario and Luigi, I always play as Luigi. He matches my physique a bit more. He's taller, he's a bit thinner. Um, I guess he's able to jump higher. He's usually faster, but again, that trait of his having the worst traction, I think makes him a harder character to play. So that's another reason why I like playing as him because he's a bit more advanced because of that slipperiness to him. But yeah, he's usually the one that I pick. So I like the Mario franchise and I like Mario too, but I prefer to play as Luigi. Um, but okay, so N64, GameCube. I played Luigi's Mansion on GameCube when it first came out. That was the first game I played for that. Excuse me, I'm like super tired. um, Luigi's Mansion was the first game that I played, and that was a unique Mario game. It was not like the other platforming Mario games. Oh shoot, I forgot I played Mario Tennis on N64 also, and that's a really good game too. But anyway, back to Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion is a really good game. Differs from the other Mario games that are more platformers, the typical Mario platform style. You're Luigi, who has won a mansion, but it turns out to be haunted, and it also turns out that a Mario has been captured by the being who tricked Luigi, who is found to be the villain King Boo. Um, but anyway, back to sort of the game style and the format. Again, it's not a typical Mario platformer. You're Luigi. You cannot jump, which is typical of all or most of the Mario games. You can only walk, but you can also use this vacuum cleaner that is introduced by this character, Professor Egad, who is this little old scientist dude who gives you this vacuum cleaner to catch these ghosts in this mansion so you can make your way to rescue your brother from King Boo. So I think it's called the Poltergust 3000. That's the vacuum cleaner. So it's kind of like Ghostbusters mixed with Mario Brothers. Um, so you're Luigi, you're going around in this mansion, you're walking. I think you can like jog also. It's not like a super fast run, but you can jog and you can open doors. You can knock on things and open things by knocking on them to find money, which you can also use. And if you find enough money, you can unlock different mansions that you can win at the end of the game if you beat it. I do think I beat that. Yeah, I did beat it. I beat that game on the A mansion level, so I was able to collect enough money to get that top mansion you can earn at the end by finding enough treasure. But yeah, that's one element of it. Finding treasure. There are some puzzle elements to it also. Nothing complex, but fairly middling in terms of puzzle solving. But you basically, what you do is you shine a flashlight onto a ghost when you find it, and then you point your vacuum cleaner onto it using the control pad, and then you press, I think it's R, and then you can vacuum the ghost by holding onto it for a while as the ghost tries to fly away. And if you hold onto the ghost long enough, it will get sucked into the vacuum, and then you'll have caught that ghost. So, and then there's all sorts of different ghost bosses which have take more of a human form than the other ghosts in the game, which are a bit more cartoonish. There are boos in the game too, which differ from the other ghosts a bit. I think they're a bit harder to capture than the other ghosts from what I can remember. But it's a really good game, very innovative. I'll talk about the other Luigi Mansion games when I get to it. Um, that's a really good Mario series. That differs a bit from the typical Mario platforming style and format. Um, so Luigi's Mansion 1 I played on GameCube. I also played Super Mario Sunshine. That was the second game that I played, and that's also a really good game. That is more of a typical Mario platformer, but they also introduce this element, this machine you can use. I am blanking on the name, but it's this pack filled with water um, that Mario wears, and he has this. Flood. Flood is this computer that talks to you sometimes throughout the game. It's basically just the nozzle part of the flood pack with the water in the back. And Mario uses this flood device to clean graffiti throughout the city that you're in on Isle Delfino, I think is the name. Yeah, Isle Delfino is the name of that. And Mario has to do this because he's being forced to clean um, the city because the inhabitants think that he is the one making all of this different graffiti all over the place because there is an imposter of his running amok. Who I'll spoil this with a spoiler, who turns out to be Bowser Jr. But anyway, so this flood device is a really interesting element of the game. There's still a lot of platforming in it. Yoshi's in it. You can ride on Yoshi's back and use his tongue to eat fruit and villains and jump around with Yoshi and flutter kick and all that. But Mario does platform a lot in it. You can just do the basic platforming like in Super Mario 64. He has all his moves from there, and there's a lot of that in the game. But the FUT element's also really good too. You use that to clean graffiti off of walls, and you also use it to spray enemies. You can use it to fight bosses with, to push bosses in different directions. It's used in a lot of the different puzzle elements in the game, which is good. Nothing, again, super difficult, but fairly middling in terms of puzzle solving. And then I'm trying to think of what else Flood is used for. Um, oh, you can use Yoshi too to spit juice. I can't remember exactly what's that is meant for in the game, but if you eat fruit with Yoshi, You can spit different types of juices out, and those are used for different elements of the game too, different puzzles. But yeah, that's a nice change of pace in a sense. It's kind of a nice balance between platforming as well as this use of flood, which is also really cool. Isle Delfino inhabitants and Isle Delfino overall is a nice change of pace from the Mushroom Kingdom. Um, and being near the water, and it kind of gives you a nice sort of vacation. You kind of feel like a summer vacation feel when you play that game. Luigi's Mansion sort of gives you that Halloween vibe, whereas this is more like a summer vacation. But anyway, so GameCube. I'm trying to think. Oh, Super Smash Brothers Melee, the second Smash Brothers game. I also played on GameCube. That's really good. It incorporates a lot more of the Nintendo characters. Still includes all of the Brawl. I'm sorry, not Brawl. The original Smash Brothers characters from the first Smash Brothers. Just a lot more characters, better graphics, 128-bit now or then versus the 64-bit Smash Brothers. And then there is also oh, a story mode. Well, there is not necessarily a story mode. There is a adventure mode in the 64 version. In the GameCube version, there is. From what I don't. Oh wait, maybe that doesn't happen till Brawl. So I rescind that. Melee, I don't know. I don't think there's a story behind Melee, but they do have better graphics. They still have the adventure mode and battle mode and one of those levels where you can go through and hit those targets. That's still in Melee. Just more characters and better graphics. Um, Characters have more, I think, the same moves. Possibly more. I don't think that happens until Brawl, but Melee's still really good. Better graphics and more characters. So I'll move on. I think. Oh, Mario Power Tennis on GameCube. I also played. That's a really good upgrade to the N64 version of Mario Tennis. Um, has more characters. I think that's the. Wait, no. Mario Tennis was the first game Waluigi was in. So they still have Waluigi. They still have. I always wondered why they don't just call Waluigi Vuigi because for Mario, you have the M, right, here, and then if you turn him upside down, it's Wario, right? So if you take Luigi, I mean, I understand Waluigi has a Japanese meaning to it, which means like evil Luigi, or let me look that up because I know Ruigi in Japanese means analog. So I think Waruigi means like anti-analog or something like that. I'm gonna look that up. So I understand for the Japanese game, but maybe for the American Waluigi, they can start calling him Vuigi. I'm gonna check that quickly here. Okay, so Waruigi means bad handwriting. Waruigi, bad righteousness. So that makes sense. That kind of fits that Japanese language. But I don't know, for the American version, maybe just try that. Because if you can make a V out of an L, as long as the L bars here of equal length, you can just rotate the L, and voila, you have a V, and you have Vuigi. So I wonder what Vuigi means in Japanese. Because I don't know, I just always thought Waluigi was kind of ham-fisted, but it makes sense in Japanese. So let's see, Vuigi in Japanese significance. So that kind of fits because, in an ironic sense, because Waluigi is kind of like this sort of fringe character who always is craving more attention. Vuigi, that's Vuigi with a G. Vuigi with a J means maintain. So that kind of fits too. He's kind of trying to maintain himself within the Mario cadre there. Trying to, put himself in as an actual character. So that might work. I'm going to put that out there for Nintendo. Maybe for the. Again, this would be more work for Nintendo, but for the American games, maybe make him unlockable or something. Like, instead of Waluigi, you can unlock Luigi with the V. Because it's kind of more fitting for Luigi and the. Well, I already explained that. So, anywho, so yeah, played that one. The Mario Power Tennis is really good. Better graphics. Obviously, GameCube has the 128-bit graphics compared to the N64's 64-bit. NES 8, SNES 16. Um, but the Mario Power Tennis also has some more characters too. From what I can remember, I know you can play as PD Piranha in that one, and I know there's some unlockable characters from the N64 game, and I think you can unlock more characters in the GameCube version too. But there is still the tournament mode as well as just single mode and two-player mode, three-player mode, four-player mode. So those are both really good. The two tennis games that I mentioned. Also played Mario Kart Double Dash on GameCube to continue with the GameCube. That's really good. I like the interesting element of having two drivers, one to drive and the other to throw the weapons, and then you can switch them. That's cool. I like that. Innovative Nintendo's end for that series. Um, and the carts are cool. You can unlock all sorts of different carts for that game also, which is a new element to the Mario Kart series that first appeared on the GameCube. Um, so yeah, I think that's it for GameCube. I'm trying to think of what else I've played for the GameCube. Um, I think that's it. So I'm gonna move on to the Wii now. The Nintendo Wii is a really cool system. Really liked the innovation behind it. The motion controls, which was new at the time. Um, Wii Sports was the first one I played. That's the game that came with the Wii. That was really fun. Using the nunchuck to move, and also to like punch, and the Wii remote to punch and to swing and to swing this way. It was good, and you can actually get a good amount of exercise if you use the Wiimote and Wii Sports correctly. And the strap is helpful too if you're worried about it slipping out of your hands. So that was a good idea on Nintendo's end. So Super Mario games for Nintendo Wii. Um, so Super Smash Brothers Brawl, which I think that is the first Super Smash Brothers game with an actual story element to it. So that was cool to see. I think I was 20 when I first played it to see all those characters and them going through an actual story. There are more characters than Melee. Graphics about the same. I think 128-bit is going to be about the highest form you can get from graphics. I mean, that's about as smooth as one can get from what I can see. I might be wrong on that. 256 might be possible. But 128-bit is on the Wii is about the same as 128-bit on the GameCube. So graphics are about the same. A bit better shading, a bit more advanced, but um, the Brawl version of Smash Brothers on the Wii is cool because you can play with either the GameCube controller, like on any other, maybe not in any other game, but on some games. And then the Wii remote can also be used. So if you want to use the Wii remote or the Wii controller, you can also use it um, depending on how you want to use the Wii remote. You can use it as a controller, a typical Nintendo controller, or the Wii remote where you're using the motion controls, which is a bit harder. But oh wait, maybe that's not it. Maybe it was only the man. I'm having a hard time remembering that. But I think that's the case. I think you can use motion control on Wii for Brawl. There are motion controls for nunchuck Wiimote combination, but they aren't set as the default. Okay, so I remember correctly the first time. You can use the Wiimote in a motion control sense for Smash Brothers Brawl on the Wii. That's the third Smash Brothers game. So that's another good Mario game. Has all the Mario characters. I think Melee introduces Peach and Bowser. Peach also uses Toad as a shield, so he's kind of in there. And you still have all the characters from the original Smash Brothers: Mario, Luigi, Donkey Kong, Yoshi. And then let's see. We also had Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, which I really enjoyed playing. I like that Luigi was unlockable as a character once you beat the game. That's a spoiler, so I'll put spoiler alerts in my description of the video here. But yeah, Luigi is once again a bit more advanced. He has that slipperiness to him when he's running, and then he's faster and can jump higher. He's also not quite as strong, so you lose energy quicker when you're underwater, so he can't hold his breath quite as long. So that makes him not necessarily better than Mario, but just a harder character to play with because you can make those jumps a little easier and you can go through the level faster, but he can take damage more easily and he is slippery, very slippery. So yeah, that was cool. I liked being able to unlock him in both of those, 1 and 2. Both of those are gorgeous games in terms of their aesthetic. I really liked how they're set in space. I'm starting to get more into space and NASA and SpaceX. As I've gotten older, I've just been reading about Blue Ghost, which is Firefly's moon. It's not a drone. I'm trying to think of what that is. But yeah, Firefly's a blue ghost. I'm trying to think of the word for that. It's not for the moon. I'm trying to think here. Lander? It's not a. Did I say probe before or drone? I don't think it's a drone. Let me check. Lunar lander. So it does provide data, power, and thermal resources to enable payload operations through transit to the moon. So it's kind of a drone probe, sort of, but I guess I'll use their term, lunar lander. But anyway, so I don't want to go off on a tangent too much, but so Super Mario Galaxy games are great. More of the standard Mario platformer style and format. 3D, and good story behind them, as in the other 3D Mario games. And there are some unique elements to them. You have new power-up suits, the bee suit, you have the spring suit, you have the ghost suit, the boo suit rather, and then you also have the like rainbow star, which gives you the ability to fly throughout the level. Not like the Tanuki suit in Mario 3 where you have to run and then you use your tail to gain altitude for a bit, but you can actually just fly freely throughout the level with that one. Oh no, wait, that rainbow star, what does a rainbow star do? There's one that allows you to fly freely, and then there's another one that I think gives you. Maybe it does all three of those things. It gives you invincibility, super speed, and the ability to fly. I'll have to look that one up. Rainbow Star Mario Galaxy. I don't know. Rainbow Star is an item. Rainbow Star is an item that appears in Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. It is the equivalent of the Superstar. Okay, when collected, it transforms Mario into Rainbow Mario or Luigi if Luigi, causing him to become rainbow colored and then leave a trail of light behind him wherever he runs. Okay, here's the part that I was looking for. In this form, he is invincible, releases starbits from damaging enemies. Oh yeah, the starbits. You can collect starbits in the game too, which you can shoot at things, enemies and whatnot. And you can break through Objects and obstacles. Certain objects and obstacles, such as chomps and boulders, can run faster and can jump both farther and higher. As the power-up begins to wear off, the music, along with Mario's running speed, will get faster and faster until it wears off completely. Okay, so that is... Oh, yeah, the Rainbow Star. So I was partially right, but you cannot fly with it. So I'm wondering what the power-up is that makes you fly in the Galaxy games. I don't know what that is. Okay, yeah, I mean the bee suit, but there's one that like allows you to fly like super quickly and like freely. The bee suit you can fly with, but only temporarily. I'm trying to think of the Super Leaf. Here, hold on one moment. I'm just going to look this up here, or research this rather. Spring Mushroom, Red Star. Oh, Red Star. Okay, so Rainbow Star is what gives you the super speed and invincibility and the ability to knock the bits out of the characters. It's the Red Star that gives the user the ability to fly freely and star spin to attract coins. Okay, so that's cool too. So yeah, there are new power-ups for Mario Galaxy. You can find these in Mario Galaxy 2 also. I'm going to check um, the... It's interesting too. I don't know if Nintendo just didn't have time to do this or whatnot, but when you're playing as Luigi in the Galaxy games, Luigi is a non-playable character when you play as Mario, who you can talk to on occasion. But then when you're Luigi, you just are talking to Luigi again. So I don't know why they didn't put Mario in place of the non-playable character Luigi when you're playing as Luigi. But anyway, uh, uh, and so I'm gonna look at the Super Mario Galaxy 2 power-ups. Oh, okay, so there are some new ones here. Oh, and you can play as Yoshi in Super Mario Galaxy 2 also, which I forgot about. I don't think he's in the first Galaxy. Super Mario Galaxy 2. Oh yeah, Fire Flower and Ice Flower also in Super Mario Galaxy, as well as the Fire Flower. Um, so yeah, I don't think Yoshi's in the first Galaxy. He is in the second one. So you can ride Yoshi in Super Mario Galaxy 2. Um, Cloud Flower is a new power-up. Um, causes the user's star spin to create temporary cloud platforms. Oh, right, I do remember that now. This uses clouds as ammo, with each cloud flower providing 3 clouds to work with. Spin drill, this is another new one. So you have the cloud flower, spin drill, lets the user drill through soft ground, rebounding off of hard obstacles in straight lines. So cloud flower, spin drill, you can create the cloud platforms, you can drill through different surfaces. And then the rock mushroom, I do remember this one, lets the user roll into a boulder to bowl through obstacles. So I do remember that one. Excuse me. Oh man, I'm tired. Apologize for yawning. So yeah, those are two good games on the Wii. Two good Mario games for the Wii. I mentioned Brawl also, Super Smash Brothers Brawl. I'm trying to think of what else I played Mario-wise for the Wii. Oh, I did play Mario Kart Wii for the Wii also. I did own that. I like the use of the Wii wheel for Mario Kart, and I don't know if you can see me right now, but I will show you that. That's just my imaginary Wii wheel there, which was really cool, and I liked how they incorporated that into the Mario Kart Wii game. So that's another good Mario Kart game on Wii. I'm trying to think if I played the tennis. Is there a tennis game for the Wii? I can't remember. I'm going to check because maybe they had GameCube Mario Power Tennis, but they had it updated for the Wii so you could use the Wii remote. I think that is the most likely scenario. Yes, that's it, because it's the same cover for Mario Power Tennis on GameCube, but you can now use the Wiimote to act as a tennis racket, so you can do overhead and backhand and sidearm. And I'm not a tennis expert by any means. I have played it before, but a little bit, but I should start doing that again. So anyway, Mario Tennis is another good one on there, and that's a really good one. And then I think that might be it for the Wii in terms of the Mario games I've played. Wii U, I also had, but I actually bought that recently. I had that about a year ago. But yeah, Wii U. Also had some good games on there. I did play. Oh shoot. You know what? I did play New Super Mario Brothers Wii for the Wii also. That's another good one. That is returning to the 2D platforming style for Mario games, but with the 3D characters and background elements. It's just a 2D play style, so you're moving side to side now instead of back and forth and side to side and diagonal and all sorts. Just straight 2D movement, but really good. I like that they returned to that format for that system. And New Super Mario Brothers Wii U is also good. I won't go too much into these also, but they have new power ups in them also, like the Mega Mushroom, which creates you into like Super Mario, like not just twice the size, but like 10 times the size or something like that. And you can destroy everything in your path with that power up. You have the Micro Mushroom, which turns you into like a ant-sized Mario, where you can travel through little secret doors and things like that. So I'm really glad that Nintendo continues to make these Mario games and incorporate these new ideas into their gameplay, which is always really good. Um, oh shoot, GameCube. I forgot. I played Super Mario, or not Super Mario, Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door on that also, which is the sequel to Paper Mario. That is another good Paper Mario game. Can't remember. I'm gonna look up the Paper Mario games because I can't remember if that's the one where you can play as Peach and Bowser and Luigi, but um, that is definitely the second one. Um, okay, so they have. Oh, okay, so that is Super Paper Mario for the Wii, which I've also played. So both are good. Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I'm trying to think of what new element was for Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, because Paper Mario you have obviously the paper element is the new element, and then Thousand Year Door I don't know, because Super Paper Mario you can play as the different characters as I mentioned. Peach I think can use your parasol to float as she usually does. You can use Bowser to breathe fire. I think he can like bash through bricks and things like that. And Luigi has the high jump ability, so you can, if you duck and then spring, he can jump like super high in the air. So that was for the Wii Super Paper Mario, but I'm wondering what Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I wonder what the element is for that. I don't know what the new element or elements are for that for the GameCube. I just have forgotten after not playing it for so long. Um, is it that's in 3D now? Because you can move in 3 dimensions now. That might be it for that, because I don't know if you can do that in the original Paper Mario. But again, these are RPG games. Actually, I'm not super into RPG games. I've played a couple, and I've toyed with a couple. I've played Final Fantasy for a while. I've played a couple other RPG games um, for the SNES. Haven't gotten super into them, but these are good. I like the RPG element. It is a different style and a different way of playing. It requires a bit more patience in terms of keeping track of your items and buying items and knowing what moves to use when you're fighting a character, where you wait your turn. So that does require more patience, which I appreciate. Um, just one moment. I just have to find. I'm trying to find what the element is for. Okay, so I was wrong about that. So Paper Mario, I said he could slip through cracks and turn into a paper airplane and all that. Um, But this says here, this time around, more emphasis is placed on the paper abilities of Mario and his friends. He can turn sideways to slip through cracks, fold into a paper airplane to fly, roll into a tube, and much more. He can also use tons of items. So I apologize for that. So what is, maybe it's just I'm trying to find out what the elements are for all these games here. Paper Mario N64. So Super Paper Mario, you have the different characters you can play as. Bowser in your door, you can use the paper element to slide through cracks and turn into a paper airplane. Paper Mario N64, maybe it's just the style. I am going to check that and it's RPG, but there was Super Mario RPG before that, so maybe it is just the artwork. And you can move in three dimensions in Paper Mario too. So okay, so Paper Mario, it's just the style. Thousand Year Door, you actually use the paper element to roll into a tube, turn into a paper airplane, slip through cracks, and then the Super Paper Mario element is that you can play as different characters, Bowser, Peach, and Luigi, which have the different abilities that I described earlier. So I'm going a bit long for this video, but I'll try to finish quickly here. Um, so there is also some other games for the Wii 2 and GameCube, which I have not played, including Golf for the GameCube, Mario Golf, and I think there's other games for the Wii 2. I think I might have played all the Mario games for the Wii, but yeah, they're all really good games. So Wii U, Super Mario Brothers Wii U. I tried playing Super Luigi U from a copy from the library for the Wii U, but I really like how the Wii U the copy that I tried didn't work, but I like how the Wii U incorporates both motion control and you can play on the controller as a screen also. It's not as portable as the Switch, which you can take anywhere and then just charge. But it is semi-portable. I think, as from what I remember, you still have to have it plugged into the actual TV connected version of the Wii U. But I do like the idea behind having a portable um, device that is also connected to your TV device. That is an interesting element. Um, so that was good. Like how Nintendo incorporated that idea into the Wii U, and then Wii U Super Mario Brothers Wii U I tried Super Luigi U, it just didn't work from the copy that I used. I think those are the only two Mario games I played on the Wii U. I will double check. Um, Wii U Mario games. Yeah, New Super Mario Brothers U, Wii U, and then tried Luigi U, couldn't play it. Um, Trying to find out what other ones I've played. Mario Kart 8 I also played. Oh, Paper Mario Color Splash I also played. Did not beat as I did with the other Paper Mario games, but did play. Oh, I completely forgot. I played Mario Party 1 and 2 for the N64. Um, 1 I owned, 2 I played at my friend Ryan's house, um, as well as 3 I think too, at the Hunter's Run Stables, which we also played that game at. So 2 and 3, Mario Party 2 and 3 at Ryan's and at Hunter's Run. 1 I owned at home, so I did play that at home. Oh, Super Mario 3D World I also played. I really like that too. I really like the cat suit. Um, that's cool. You get to climb around and pounce and all that. That was cool. I liked the how you could play from all the characters from the original Super Mario Brothers 2, the American version. So that's cool. Yeah, and I liked how all the characters had the different abilities. Mario being all well-rounded, Luigi has that jumping power, and then Peach can float, and then Toad is super strong and fast. Um, oh, I also played Super Mario Maker for the Wii U. That was really good. Oh shoot, you know what? I forgot about the portables. I did have a GameCube Color for a while. I played Super Mario Deluxe on that, which is really good. Had the original Mario Brothers on there. You can unlock the Japanese Super Mario Brothers 2, which is just the more advanced version of the original. You can unlock all sorts of different pictures in there. Um, a speed run version, I think, where you race Boo. And there's also a thing. There's also a game you can play on Super Mario Deluxe, Brothers Deluxe, where you have to find Yoshi's eggs, and that's a good one too. I think that's it. Or like red coins, which then turn into Yoshi's eggs. I haven't played it in so long, but I think that's it. So that's another Mario game I played on the Game Boy Color. Game Boy Color, I also played the Donkey Kong 94, which is like the original Donkey Kong, but a lot more advanced. Mario can do a flip jump, he can do a handstand spring jump, causing him to jump higher. You have to find more. Have to find keys during each level to move on to the next level, to open the doors to the next level, to be more specific. Sorry, I'm scrolling as I'm speaking, and that's dividing my attention. So I will return to the screen here. I also had a Nintendo DS for a while, where I played Bowser's Inside Story, which was good. The DS Mario game for that, which was also good. Mario Kart DS, I'm assuming its name is. Those are the only 2 games I had for that. I had a Nintendo 3DS recently. I purchased one like a year ago, and I played Super Mario 64 DS on that. Always wanted to play as Luigi in Super Mario 64 as a kid, so I finally got the chance to do that. Liked his ability to walk through walls, and obviously he had the higher jump, which is always his sort of trait. Like playing as Wario 2. Didn't play as. I don't think maybe I didn't unlock Wario, but I did unlock Yoshi. But Wario can has his strength where he can break the heavier blocks. It's a bit slower, but he has another element to him also, which I can't remember. Oh shoot! Also, speaking of Wario, I did play the Wario Land games on the Game Boy Color too. Played Super Mario Land, which I didn't own, but I played at my friend Andy's house. I also played the Wario Land games. So I think I played Wario Land 1 through 4 on the Game Boy Color. Also played Wario's Woods on the NES on an emulator. And then I also played Wario World on the GameCube, which is a good game. I It's sort of more on the cusp in terms of Mario games, like on the fringe, but it's still a good game. You can use Wario to grab onto enemies and then spin them around and throw them. You can do your shoulder bash into them. You can just bash stuff all around. It's a good sort of a crash and bash fighting game with Wario starring in it. So that's a good game. I have played uh, the WarioWare games also. I can't remember which one it is, but I did play WarioWare also. One of those. I think it was the one for the Switch. Was the one that I played. Those are really good. Like super fast, like micro games, not even mini games, but like micro games. What you play, where you just basically have to react to an element incredibly quickly, and then just learn how to react to that element as you play the game. So it's a lot of trial and error, but those are really good games also. Um, so I had to backtrack a bit there. So I'm on the Wii U still. I think that's it for the Wii U. And then for Nintendo Switch, I played Super Mario Odyssey, which was incredible, really good. Um, Similar to Mario Galaxy, but well, not really actually. It differs actually quite a bit, but really good. I mean, same sort of graphics as Mario Galaxy, is I guess is what I was going for, but different story, and then has a really unique element of the hat. I think Hattie is its name, where you don the hat as Mario loses his own, and then you have this new hat, which you can use to throw at enemies, and then you can use that to enter the enemy and then become the enemy. So you can be a Goomba, you can be. I'll give a spoiler alert here, so I'll put this in the description, but you can actually play as Bowser at the end. So Bowser can like crash through all these different bricks and he can breathe fire, so that's really cool. You can play as Boo also. Um, so yeah, you can play as all these different enemies. You can play as a T-Rex within the very first level. So that's really cool, like an actual like giant T-Rex, not like Yoshi, but a giant like T-Rex you can play as. You can like stomp around, and that's really fun. So yeah, Super Mario Odyssey does differ a lot from Mario Galaxy. Similar graphics, but really unique gameplay with that hat element. You have the return of a character that had not been used much since Donkey Kong 94, Pauline, who was also in the original Donkey Kong. I guess she's the mayor of this city called New Donk City. Which is really good. Just this really interesting open world environment where you can run around and essentially just you have to complete these various missions to earn these pieces. They're not stars like in Super Mario 64, and they're not sunshine bits. Um, can't remember what they are in Galaxy, but essentially the same idea where you have to complete these missions to collect these items, which will allow you to progress to the next level. So that's good. So that's another element from Galaxy that's also in Odyssey. But again, it really is that hat element that allows you to transform yourself into the villains, which makes Mario Odyssey very unique. Um, so yeah, that's a great game. Luigi's. Oh shoot, I almost forgot. For the Nintendo 3DS, I also had Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which is the second Luigi's Mansion game. That is very good. Also, has a really good has really good additions to the Luigi Mansion original. I don't think I beat that one. I think I only played through part of that. but EGAD returns in it. I think there is a new element added to your vacuum, which you can also use to, I think it's the same as the first one, you can use to blow dust out of, or to blow air to solve puzzles. And then there is also this dog in the game, this ghost dog, which is becomes part of the third game also, which I'll talk about in a second. But those are introduced in the second game. I don't know very much about the additions to the second game because I didn't play it very much. But I think they are found in the third game too, so they kind of continue into the third game. So the difference I saw between the first and the third game in terms of what Luigi can do with the vacuum is that he can gain this super vacuum power where he has this like supercharged vacuum. And I think I only used this during one part of the game, but you use it to like super suck like all these different parts of this building into your vacuum. Um, and that's really the only part that I use that addition to the vacuum for. But there's also, you saw the flashlight, but the flashlight also has these different modes. One mode you can uh, use to reveal secrets behind paintings. So if you point this special modification of your flashlight onto these paintings will turn to money, or they'll open up and reveal a new door that you can go through. And there's one other type of light too. I'm going to look this up that differed a bit from the first Luigi's Mansion game. So you have Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, Luigi's Mansion 3, which had really good graphics, a really good story to it. It has these new elements to your vacuum and your flashlight. And it also has Luigi, or not Luigi, Gooigi. So Gooigi is this goo version of Luigi, which Luigi can store him in his part of his vacuum on his back, and when you use Gooigi, you can use him to move through things like grates and bars that Luigi himself couldn't go through. And if Luigi uses Gooigi won't die. He'll just return back to the vacuum pack if hit by an enemy enough times to kill him. So that's that there for Luigi's Mansion 3. Oh shoot! So you have that one element of the flashlight in Luigi's Mansion 3, which you can use to look at paintings and find new doorways, turn paintings into money, find new doorways, and then Luigi's Mansion 3 also has another flashlight type too, which I can't remember what it's used for. Type of flashlight in Luigi's Mansion 3. Huh. Okay, so there's a Boo flashlight, which I didn't know about in Luigi's Mansion 3 also. When in use, it shines a light with a Boo's face design at the end of it. It is unlocked by capturing all the Boos in the game. So that's, I had never found that one, but I'm trying to think. What the heck was the other flashlight used for? I think the other flashlight was used to find like footprints that enemies left behind, and you could use this flashlight to do that. So I think that's that. So there, yeah, you have your basic flashlight. You have the one you can use to turn the pictures into coins, and also to find new doorways. And then I think this other flashlight you can use to find footprints left by enemies you need to find to move on to the next level. So I apologize for not knowing that, but there's also that blue flashlight also, which I never knew about until now. Which I guess just has the blue face on the end of it, which is cool. So I think that's it for Mario games. Oh wait, no, I did play Smash Brothers Ultimate also. So I don't think I played. I'm just going to check. I never played the U version of Smash Brothers or the Wii U version. So I did play Ultimate. I've played the original Melee Brawl. I think it's and Ultimate. The only one I didn't play was the one for 3DS and Wii U, so I don't know that one. But Ultimate's also good. It has a good story to it. Has a lot more characters. Same type of gameplay as found in the other Smash Brothers games, most similar to Brawl, and it is very fun. Good Smash Brothers game, good addition to that. And I think that's it for all the Mario games I've played for all the systems. Yeah, I know there's more out there, but that's all for now. And that's good. For the games, I have seen the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. I've seen Super Mario Brothers 3, the animated series, a bit, not very much, but a bit. Super Mario World, the animated series, which is also good. I've seen the Super Mario Brothers movie when it came out back in '93. I also saw the new CGI Mario film, which just came out in April, which is also very good. So yeah, really like Super Mario Bros. Super Show. I thought that is really funny. I really like the live action segments in that. I actually liked the Super Mario Brothers '93. Ooh, excuse me. Live action film. Some people give it flack, but I think they're just disappointed because the world doesn't look like the Mario world they were expecting. But I mean, I think they do a really good job at creating what is a live action Mario world. I think it's a bit more adult, which is good too. And I think they do a good job of incorporating that idea of, well, why does the Mario world exist? Well, it exists because it is a planet that evolves not from dinosaurs to apes, but just from dinosaurs to humans. So that's an interesting element of it. I like that. And I mean, Yoshi's in there, Babam's in there. I mean, maybe not as one would expect, but you have the super mushroom in there also. Um, I liked how they had the Mushroom King being turned into fungus. I think that was actually part of the original story behind the first Mario game was that Bowser had turned all of the mushroom or most of the Mushroom Kingdom into mushrooms. So the toads that live there into actual mushrooms. Um, and yeah, the Goombas there are just mushrooms that went bad, at least based on the instruction manual for the first game. So that there's an interesting element of the film that I liked also. Um, super tired. Um, I like the CGI version 2. That was a bit kiddie for me or childish for me, but really good graphics, great art, and that was just really visually pleasing to see, and a good film overall. So oh, you know what? I also read Mario comics when I was a kid too. So there were some Mario comics which I read, which were good. I remember reading a few of those, not a lot, but a few. Comic books, not like a comic strip, but a comic book. Um, so yeah, I think that's it for Mario for now. I will move on. I'm going to end this video here as it's going on a long time, but um, I will move on to the next video and I will talk about some other franchises that I enjoy in the next one. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a good rest of the day. Oh, thank you for watching too. And my name is Steve Lancaster, and again, I hope you have a good rest of the day.